Hey, hello everyone. So, welcome back for the JavaScript 4 days workshop for the beginner level. So, I think my voice is audible for all. So, can you cross check? Let's wait for one more minute to other students to get joined. If my voice is clear and audible, can you give? Because weather outside. Okay. Have any disturbance? Please give a comment, and I will work on it. Okay. So we start our section shortly at just within a minute. Okay. Okay. So I think my voice is clear for all. Okay, so we can move on. Just a minute, I will share my screen. So just a quick recall, because we have a gap in between a day. So what was we completed the before, like I think the Tuesday, what we have completed. So we have completed the basics functions and all about the methods in JavaScript. So we see about some of the looping concepts, like we see about the traditional loops, and also some of the looping concepts, array helper method by using for each, map, filter, and that's more than enough. Okay, so to go through. Okay, so and at the end I will give all the docs and all the notes and all that you can follow us, and you can also have a great guiding if you have a contact with us. Okay, so you can your learnings in you, and you can put it in your LinkedIn. We will there for you to help you. Okay, so to identify you, and we will help that. And if you have any doubt also, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. We have LinkedIn, whatever the place you want, you can ask. So likewise, so that is what we're going to continue from there only. Like today we're going to see about the conditional statements. Quickly we move on to the DOM properties. Okay, so we're just going to work with the conditional statements. Okay, so after that, after completing the conditional statements, we go and work with the DOM properties, and we need to see about some little advanced concepts in loops. Okay, so that is also we need to do. Okay, so I think, sorry, I think my screen is visible for all, right? So I just opened the JS bins. Okay, so if you have any doubts, just if you have any doubts or any queries, just give a comment in the comment section. I will be come to this blurry multiple screen section, and just for to see your comments and whatever you want. Okay, so here we do, like yeah, our host is always a chat box, and he will also help you. Okay, so and one more thing I want to tell, like this going, we're going to give an internship offer is also there, and I know that most of you are in WhatsApp group. You will get notification, and it will be shared soon what about the regarding and all. And today I just there is an attendance link also going to be given at the end of the class. Please fill it. If you are continuously watching the JavaScript beginner level, then you will get a participation certificate, and you will get notified by us too. Okay, so okay, fine. So the next we move on to the concepts. Okay, so today what we're going to do, we're just going to see about the conditional statement. So what is meant by the conditional statement? So we can, it is called as an flow control. So what is meant by flow control? Like controlling the flow of the code. For example, if I'm going to write code, and that code want to execute when a particular condition is becomes true, like that. Okay, for example, I need to write a particular code when a certain thing is true or certain thing is okay. I need to run the code. For example, if the user give the input, I need to run a particular code. If the user give the input, then I don't want to write that code, like some specific functionality that's I want to run. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, so we go and see about the conditional statement. If I say the conditional statements, we have so much things, so much of the things to work on. So the first thing is if statement. I think most of the people know what is a statement, because it comes for most of the programming languages. So it is going to be a conditional statement. So how it's going to execute? It is executes based on the condition. I'm going to pass a condition. Based on the condition is true, the code is going to execute. For example, just imagine I have a code console.log hello all. So if I just save this and I just say, you can see the hello all is run. But I want to execute like this. I need to check a certain condition. For example, I create a variable is user is, so I just create a variable user is valid. If it is true, which means if it has a truthy value, or if user has some truthy value, then the code has to execute. Otherwise the code will not execute. So we don't want to execute this code. So how can we do that? So for that we can use this if statement. So what is the syntax of the if statement? Of the if statement is, you need to give the if, and after that you need to pass a parenthesis. In this you need to give the condition, like how we give for the same like this, and in between this block, like the curly braces, you need to give the code to execute like this. Okay, so in the condition you need to give the condition. So for example, how it is work means, if that is true, if the condition is true, the code will execute. If the condition is false, if the condition is false, the code will not execute. So this is actually what. For example, I go here and I just copy it and I just cut this and I just put inside this curly braces, and here I just going to say false, directly false. I just give a manual input false. After doing this, if I run this code, after doing this, if I run this code, clear it out, if I run this code, you can notice nothing. So the reason is, I already said, like, this is going to be run when the condition is true. So if I make the condition is going to be true, okay, if now I run this code, you can see it will execute it. So here I'm controlling the code. Whatever the code I am getting inserted into it, I'm controlling it. For example, what I can say, instead of directly giving, we can give a variable like user valid. So this is going to be user valid. If the user is valid, then you need to give console dot, you need to give this. If I run this, you can notice that it will be executed again. So if I change this manually, if I change this false, then if I run this, the code will not execute. The reason, because the value is false. So instead of true and false, instead of value, what if I give some names, like for example, I just give my name, and if I run this, notice that code will execute. How it is working? Because you say like you need to know if it is true, then only you need to execute this code, right? So not only true or false, but also it works for truthy value and falsy value. For example, it condition is not only check whether the given condition is true or false, instead it also check it for whether the given condition is truthy value or falsy value. So what I mean by truthy value? So truthy value, or if you have if you have any values, that is going to be truthy value. Then what is going to be the falsy value? What things that comes under falsy value? If I say falsy value, it be an empty string, going to be a 0. Even if I give, if I just give null, if I execute, you can notice that the code will not execute it. So which means null is also has the negative value, which means the value. If I give the undefined, if I run this code, you can see code will not execute it. So this is also going to have the falsy value, right? And direct boolean, if I go for boolean, false is also going to be have the falsy value. So there are several again more falsy values there, and you can use that to work that and define. And if you put that in your variable, it will not work. Instead, if I give a number, so it has a number, right? So then it's not going to be a falsy value, it is going to be a truthy value, then it's going to be execute. So the only thing, if it is an empty string, if it is going to be a 0, if it is going to be null, undefined, and false, and I think some other more is there, and those values are there, they have a negative side, they have a fault, they have the boolean value of those is falsy. Okay, so they will return false. Okay, so likewise, if I give an, it is going to be a falsy value. If I give some value, it is going to be truthy value, right? So if this code is going to be execute like that. Okay, and this is, even though we can able to compare also, we can give, instead of giving a and passing in variable, we can able to give the data also. For example, example, if I say triple equal to, if I say this user value is triple equal to something like 3, then this want to execute. Like instead I just say her. If I run this now, it will not execute, because here it is going to be the conditional statement. So it not only check for this, it check for what is the value. The value is going to be Harry, and here it is going to be HAR. So it is not equal to, right? So instead, if I give Harry, so it is going to return false. If I give Harry, now this is equal to this, right? And both are have string data type, so it is truthy value. So if I run this, it will be executed. Okay, so this is all about control statement, the first if. Okay, so now you have another doubt, like if it is truthy value, it is going to be executed here. What happens if it is a falsy value? For example, I have a variable directly giving false. So if I use the if statement, and I can use the user value, and here I mention console.log the dev, like that. And if I run this, clearly you can notice that it will not going to execute. Okay, so because it is going to be false. Okay, so we have to control that. Like if it is true, I need to run this code, right? I need to run this code. If it is false, I need to run some other code, right? So how can I do that? Then you can use something called as if and else statement. So what is meant by if and else statement? The if runs when the condition is true, the else runs when the condition is false. That's it. So here I can mention else like this, and this is the syntax. Usually, like if it is true, it is going to write here. So the web dev channel, instead of this, we can go for truthy value. Okay, so the same, I just copy here and I just going to paste it, and here I just say false value, something like this. Okay, so if the condition is true, this code will execute. Condition is false, this code will execute. For example, run this, you can notice that it is going to be a false. If I change the value to and something like and variable, then it's going to be har. Okay, fine. So then it's going to have the truthy value. So if I run this, you can say it's going to have truthy value. So if I give an empty string, it is going to be a falsy value, and it's going to be say like this. And instead, if I give a space, an empty string with multiples, and that is going to be a truthy value. Remember that empty string with the multiple spaces, it is also going to be a truthy value. The space, we have something inside it, right? That's it, right? Fine. So this is all about like if and else. So we write a small work. For example, let the age of person is 18. Okay, so the person age is 18, then I need to write something else. I need to write something. So what I can do, if I say age is greater than equal to 18, which means if the age variable has the value of greater than 18 or equal to 18, then you need to execute this code. What we can say, instead of truthy value, I am eligible to vote, something like this. I am eligible to vote. So else, what we can say here, we can say if what happens if it is going to be false, then what would be the value? It is not going to greater than 18, not going to equal to 18, which means it is going to less than 18. So if the age is less than 18, then here I am writing the logic. You are, sorry, you are. Okay, you are not eligible to vote. That's it. Fine. I think you can understand, right? So if I run this, you can notice that you are eligible to vote. Why? Because the value is going to be 18. What happened if the age is to be 4? Then if I run this, you can notice that you are not eligible to vote. Like if you go for height checker, like if your height is maximum this, you are eligible to get into army. If your height is less than, you are not eligible to get an army. How they are working like this. If the user is user has an valid, like if the user has an valid email and password, he is a valid user. If the user is not an, has some, the user email and valid is not entered, it will redirect to the sign up page. How it is happening? Everything by using if else. This is the control flow, right? So how can we do that? Like for example, we can check whether the user has the valid email or not. If he has the valid email, then we can give the condition to check the valid user and email and all. And if he has the valid email, we can redirect to the page of home, like dashboard, the main page of the website. Like otherwise, what we can do, if it is going to be a false, then we can redirect to the sign up page, like code, but it executes based on the conditions. Like, okay, so this is one of the conditions. So what happened? What have, like what we can say, like if we have multiple conditions. So right now we have two conditions, whether I want to check true and I want to false. So this is going to be a two flow, right? So I need to check this or that. For example, if it is head, do this. If it is tail, do that. So instead of that, like a good example, like if it is going to be a head, I need to do something. Going to be and false, I need to do something. Okay, so this is case of tossing a coin, because going to have two sides. But what if I have a dice? Like in the dice we have six, like more than six. We have six things, like one side we have only one, and another side we have two, and another side we have three, like that. So based on each sides I need to do that. That is called multiple condition. For example, if I have the one die, like if I have one dice value, then I need to go for Goa. If I have two dice, then I need to move for barrels, like that. How can I do that? Let's do that. We can say option. It is going to be option. Okay, so we're going to have an option 1 to 6. Okay, so I just going to write the code for multiple thing. So for that we have something called as else if. So the else if is to check multiple conditions. Okay, so this is going to look like a ladder. You can understand it. Like if I say for first condition, I just say if the option is equal to 1, then what is my decision? I just want to go for the console.log. I just want for the go for Goa. I'm planning my trip. Okay, so that is why you can, and I can say else if. So what does else do? For example, in case that this code will get false value, like the option is not 1, right? For example, we have 4, but we are checking with 1. So obviously this condition is going to be false. So if the condition is going to be false, what would happen? It automatically go for else statement, but here it will not go, because we have something called as else if. So this is another checking, like this will be another checking. Like I just can use again, if the option is equal to, then you go for, can we go for Mumbai, like this. Here it's going to check another thing. So, and this is going to be the default. So what is the use of default here? Let I explain. Like here I say, here stay in the home. We can say stay in the home. Okay, so what I'm saying, like, so this is going to be a ladder of option. Like for example, first it check for the if. So if the if is true, then what happened? It will fall. It will write the code. It will write the code if will true, and all the other upcoming code will not taken. So if the if is false, instead of go for else, what it will do? It will go for else and check for whether this condition is getting true or not. So likewise, how many condition we are giving, it take care and it will work on that. Like this, and we can give a condition we want. So right now I'm giving a simple condition, so you can give whatever the condition you want. You can give, okay, so there is no problem, absolutely. So like, so consider I'm going to have a four option. One is go for Goa, one is go for Mumbai, and another one is go for Delhi, go for Chennai. Okay, so if the values nothing, then I want to sit in my home. Like it's going to be 5 or 6, anything that not in 4, I'm going to sit in my home. That's it. So right now I have 4. So if I run this code, you can see you can go for Chennai, which means it check how it is working. It check for this condition. It's going to fall back here, and it check for this condition. This will be false, and then go for another condition and check for the another if else. This is going to be false, and it's going to check here. It is going to be, so this code will be execute, and it will came out from the ladder. That's it. Fine, right? So this is how it works. For example, if I say 2, so then we're going to for Mumbai, right? So check for here and false here, like that it will be fallback, and all these code will not go for the process, right? So because it's going to be 2. So what if I just roll the dice, it gives 6, then what happened? It just go for the default value, because it check for all the condition to whether someone has true or not. Everything is going to be false, then automatically go for the else statement, right? So this is the difference between. Okay, just a minute. I think my screen is good only because the streaming is very good only. Can you check your yeah, can you check your streaming to 120 pixel? Then it would be good, even more good. Okay, because I don't have anything like I can increase the brightness only. Like I think it will be good for you. Okay, so it will be good. Just watch it in a higher quality. Then it's fine. Okay, so this is going to be the conditional statement. Okay, so and you have noticed that we need to little bit messy up code, and we have there is a lot of option to get an error. Like we have more syntax, like we need to give the parenthesis, we need to give the condition for everything, and we need to give that, right? So how there is another way of work with this ladder kind of multiple giving, that is called a switch statement. You see about that? Like for example, I'm going to write the same code in a switch key by using switch statement. Let's see how we can write. So this is going to be the replacement for else if, whether if you want it use it, there is absolutely no problem. So what I'm going to do, the same statement by using switch. Okay, so switch, it's going to have a case, like the condition is going to be pause, and here we're going to have a case, and this is going to be the case, and we need to give that, and we need to write the code to execute, and we need to break the statement, and we have a default value. We have a default value, not default, it's going to be default. Okay, so we're going to have a value. That's it. Okay, so this is going to be the syntax that I explain after writing the code. For example, I just say let option equal to something. Okay, so here we can pause the option. Okay, we can pause this option, and we can check what we want. Like for example, if the option is going to be 8, it's going to be 8. We don't want to write. If it is going to be right, what you need to do, you need to write the code. It is going to be a little bit cleaner code, you can see, compared to that. If I say console.log hi, something like this, and break. Okay, so what is the default? It is something like the else statement. Like if it's going to be false, then it's going to be come for the default statement. We can say console.log, and here we can say nothing. Okay, something like this. That's it. And what is this about break? I will explain little bit. Give me a time. If I run this, you can notice that I will be execute the same like if else ladder. For example, if I use another condition, so this is going to check with whether the code is going to be have 12 number, then you need to tell me welcome. So now if I clear it and run it, now it's also it's going to give me a high because it's going to be 8. So if I 12 value, now you can notice that going to give me welcome. So how it is working, like in this only you need to pause whatever the thing you need to do that, and here it is going to be check the case check, like whatever the condition you need to give, like it is whether whatever it's going to be this or that, like that. If you want to check it, you can able to give here, and here the code you need to write it. What about break? So break is the statement to, it is a keyword, like you can use this break method to came out from a loop. So if I don't use that break means, then what happened? All the upcoming things also get executed. This case becomes true. All the upcoming also get executed. For example, if I remove this break, here I do this break, and here also if I don't use the break means, then what happened? If I give the value to 8, now what happened? This case is going to have a truthy value. So this is good. Okay. And also what happened? All the upcoming, all the following cases also get executed. You can notice that, because this switch statement have that functionality, like we don't use the break means it will not stop, it will not stop the break. So once it becomes true, all the next will come, all the next code just get executed. Right now if I say 12, then what happened? It is going to be false, so this is not going to execute it, but this is going to be true. Once it gets true, if I don't use this, two code will get executed. So this is make it much more messy, right? So instead of that, what we can use this break keyword. So by using the break, what we do, what this will do, it will just uh, it will just what kick out from the loop. Okay, so it will stop the loop and it just kick out from the loop, so it will stop the flow of loop. So now it is true, it will be executed. Oh, it is going to be a break. Okay, so then I need to get out from the loop, like that. So otherwise it is going to be false, then this is not going to be work, and it will automatically go for the case 2. This is also going to be false, then it's go for default and it will work. So here we don't want to give the break, because this is the last line of code, so it automatically loop breaks. So that's it. So that's it for switch statement. You can notice this is for switch statement, and you can use this for alternative for else if, or you can, or if you are comfortable with the else statement, else if statement, you can use that too. Absolutely no problem. Okay, so fine. We have completed the control flow. Okay, let I check one more. There any topic is still left, or we can complete that and we move on to the DOM property. Okay, so we have complement if statement. Yes, one more is there, and that is called as ternary operator. That is what we do. So this is also a control. This is also going to work same like if else, but in a very simple manner. Okay, let's see how it is working. For example, I have age equal to 12. Okay, so I need to check if age is equal to 12, then I need to run something, or otherwise I need to run something. How can we do? We can, if I say age equal to equal to 12, then you need to do this console.log, else something has to run, right? Else something has to run, like something like this. You can notice this is going to be true, so it's going to execute 12. So if I have something like 2, if I run this, it is going to run something. Okay, so this is, but you can see this is for small line, we have like a ladder of code, right? So there comes a ternary operator. It gives some multiple options. Like how can I just do this by using ternary operator? For ternary operator, it's question mark. So this is going to be the ternary operator sign. Like instead of using this parenthesis, curly braces, we by using question mark we can do that. How can I do that? Means, for example, here I can say like age. You can say let x is equal to age. Here we can use the question mark, and here we can say like age. Here we can say the condition. So this is going to be the condition. If age is equal to 12, age is equal to 12, you want to give a parenthesis, you give whatever you want. So age is equal to 12, and here it's going to run the first code. Okay, so otherwise it's going to run the next code. So if it is going to be true, it's going to run the code comes here, otherwise it's going to run the code colon. For example, if it is going to be true and I going to write yes. Okay, so if it is going to be false, I just going to say no. Okay, so here what I can do, we can say console.log x. So if I clear this and if I run, we can comment this. here run, you can see it going to say me no. Why? Because a value of age, the value of age is 2. So here I set to 12, then this is want to execute. So whatever come next to the question mark, that is need to execute. If it is going to be false, the condition is going to be false, this is going to be executed. Okay, so that is what need. So if I say 12, now this becomes true, right? So if it is true, what happened, this code, whatever we giving inside it, it will be get executed. So if I say something else, it will get executed. So not only the string, whatever, if you want to run a console, you can directly run, we can say console, or you need to run something console.log, we can say yes. And here we simply remove this, and if I run this, you can notice here it will come automatically. Okay, so likewise you need to pause on function, whatever you need to pause, you can pause. And this is what is the difference between let and else? Absolutely not, no difference. But you can notice that the how simpler it is and how it is easy to write a code within a line, and it is easy to tangible, right? We have implemented the ternary operator. So this is also one of the advanced content after ES6 concepts. It will be good to use. Okay, so this is all about ternary operator. Then what we're going to do, we see about, we just seen about functions and all. So right now we DOM concepts. So get into the DOM concepts. Okay, so for the DOM concepts, so hi hi everyone, if you have any doubt you can ask in the comment. So we are moving to the DOM concepts. What is meant by DOM? So DOM is nothing but document object model, which means this is an API. Like by using this API only, we can able to manipulate the HTML and all. So that is what we're going to see. We're going to see how to grab an element and how to change that element. Like that, we have so much of things to discuss. That is what we're going to discuss for the next today and next day. Let's go and see. Okay, so for that I just not going to use the JS Bean. I just use the Visual Studio Code. The reason, you can see, like right now we only work with the JavaScript, that is fine to debug and all. So right now we need something for the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so what I do, I just create a new folder. You can see that I can say DOM. So inside this I'm going to have an open with code. So inside this DOM I'm going to create a file. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I just going to create an index.html. I think you know how to get an HTML file, all right? So if you want a boilerplate for index.html, you can use the shortcut like the Visual extension. And I just say title is going to be DOM manipulations. Okay, so here I just do an h1. Okay, so just say manipulations. Okay, so that's it. Here we can create an CSS file because we need to change the CSS to whenever we want. So I just create it for a backup. That next I just going to link it. So I just want to link CSS file. I just link it. That's it. So this is also going to link. How can we check it? We can check. We can give a style for the h1 tag. We can say extra line. It's going to be center. That's it. And we can give the, that is what we where we going to work. So we give a body color a little bit presentable. So we are just going to give the background color, and I love tail. Heel color. Okay, so this is going to be there. And here comes a hero Java. So I just go into with the app.js to how to link the JavaScript file. For linking the JavaScript file, you need to add, it is good to add the JavaScript file at the body of your page. Because the reason why I'm saying the body of the page, because sometimes you have more like you have more to load for HTML, and you have more HTML files are available, and it is always good to give in the bottom of it, because we need to run JavaScript after all the HTML and CSS has been rendered in the website. So some people like it is, so we can add it in the body too, it will be work fine. fine. But for some responses, JavaScript get overwritten before the HTML get executed, the JavaScript get executed. So that is we need to avoid. So we can use here. Okay. So here I need to add the app.js. So how can we check that whether our app.js is linked or not? We can give console. So there is a console here. Whatever we give here the code with console.log, it will go and execute in the console log. So we can cross check. Okay. So hello all. That's it. And here I go for the index.html. We have an extension called open with a live server. If you don't have that, just in the Studio Code, click the extension and type for open with live server. Like we have live server, there is an extension, the tower Wi-Fi like this is going to be, and if you click this, it is going to have that extension. So what is the use of this extension? We can right click it, and if I open it, it will be automatically save all the updates that I'm doing here, and it will be show something like this. So my HTML and CSS is fine here. So my HTML and CSS is fine here. So and I need to check whether my JavaScript is linked up fine or not. So I just go and click the inspect button. And so and here, don't worry about the error here. This is because of some some of the extension I add in my browser. So I refresh, it will be gone. Okay. Okay, fine. So everything is fine. JavaScript is added successfully, and the CSS is also added successfully. Now move on for, we don't want CSS right now. So now we move on for the app.js. So here what we just go and work with the DOM manipulation, right? So the DOM is what we're going to do. Fine, right? So we can view. Okay, so very good. So the next what I'm going to do, we're going to DOM. So what is DOM? If I say DOM, it is going to be document object model. This is the expand form of DOM. So document object model, what is meant by a document here? So here this HTML is going to be the document. Okay, so by using JavaScript, what is the purpose of using JavaScript in browser? JavaScript in browser, we can manipulate, we can able to manipulate the DOM. So the DOM is saying what? It is a tech hierarchy of document. That's it. Let's see what is meant by that. I go for Google, and here I say DOM tree. Go for hand, you can notice something like this, or it is good to have this one. You can see something like this. If I click, you can see that this is actually DOM. So this is actually DOM means, just look at the picture. So the DOM is nothing but what it will do, it will represent our code as a tree like hierarchy, and we can able to manipulate that, and we can able to create an element, delete an element, and everything by using this DOM operation. For example, here it's going to be the DOM document. So what is the document right now? We have the index.html. This is going to be the document. So this is going to be the top of it, and you can notice that. So everything, first, what is the syntax we, or what is the element we have, that is going to be the HTML, and that is wrapped all the thing inside it. So that is going to be the root element. So here you can see, it has the root element. So that is going to be the HTML. So inside the HTML element, what we have the head and we have the body, right? So that is what the HTML tag we have. First element, what we have the head, and second element what we have the body, right? So this is going to be the parent, like this is going to be the child for that parent element. So the root is going to be the parent element, and this has two child, one is body and one is head. And inside head, what we have, just you can add the meta to. Right now, just think like whatever the tag we manually added, like the title, the link tag. So this is going to be inside the head tag, right? So this is going to be the parent element now, and this is going to be the child element. Okay, so now you can understand, right? So then the HTML is going to be the grandparent, like that. So this is going to be the tree like hierarchy. So by using this is actually does that, and by using that we can able to manipulate it. That is what we're going to do. Like For example, this is actually the tree like hierarchy, so we can use that and we can able to, okay. So first thing what we going to do, if I want to manipulate, example, if I want to manipulate an element, okay, if I want to manipulate an element, like for example, I just going to have and with an h2 tag, okay, here I say manipulate this. I am here to change, okay, something like this, very bad. So fine. So we have two things, one is h1 DOM manipulation and another one is going to be h2, that is going to be the h2 element, right? So what I going to do, I need to, here there is a guy, right? So he's saying I'm here to change, I need to change this element. So how can I do that? So changing this element, first I need to grab that element, okay. So by using JavaScript we can able to do that, but for doing that we need to grab, we need to fetch that element. How can we fetch that? There are several methods to grab an element, so that is what we're going. So here we can say grabbing an element. So there are three are available for methods are available in term grabbing, and two extra methods is also available, and I going to say why we use this two extra method most instead of uh, among three we leave some, that is what we're going to see. So first we see the basic three methods. For example, for that you need to understand the css. Yes, you heard it right, you need to understand css. So for selecting an element, so here, so for example you can see, if I want to change the body color, what I want to do, I need to select the body and I need to give the properties. The same like that, if I want to change an element, for example here if I want to change the color of an h2 element, so I call the h2 element and I give text alignment center and I just give the color is equal to white, then only it changes its default value. So for the same only, for example if I want to change something inside this, or some I want to change the element, then what I want to know, I need to select that first, and which means I need to grab that first, and then I need to give some properties, same like here we have css property, text element, color, like that, and here we have some other properties to change and manipulate that. That is what we're going to see, okay. So for that, first I need to select that, right? So how can, so here the selecting is called grabbing, like how can I grab that element? So you can grab the element by using their id. Yes, of course, in css also you can grab that element by using their id, right? So if an element have id, for example, if an element have an id, and we can say like what is the id name, it's going to be para. So if I want to color this, if I want to style this, what I can do, I just to give the assign and I need to give the para, and what I need to do, I need to give an this, and I can overwrite, like for example the color is going to be something called blue violet. If I change this, you can see very obviously some like this, you can see display like this. So what I did, I for id we need to use this assign and we need to call that id name, and we can able to change that color of it, right? So same like this, if I want to change, grab an element using an id, what we need to do, we need to use a method that is available in the DOM. So how can we access the document element by using their id means we need to call the document, okay. So the document is going to be the everything, so this is going to be the root element, okay. So and we have several methods, like in object we have seen several methods, right? The same like this, we have several methods, so we need to access an element by their ids. So for that we have a method called get element element by id, and inside this you need to give the id name with the protections, that's it. So inside this you need to give the id. Let's see how it is working. For example, I need to grab this element. How can I do that? So I can say document. So if I say document dot I'm going to use the DOM API. So document dot, here I say get. You can notice that we have several methods. One of the method I want is get element by ID. So this is the method I want to give the parenthesis, and I need to open that. So this get element by ID method, what it will do, it will grab an element based on their ID. So we don't want to mention the _, no, we don't want to mention that. We just want to call which ID we want. So here I want this paragraph is going to be my ID, right? So paragraph is going to be my ID. So here, that's it. Fine. So now we have grabbed it. So how can I check that if I correctly grabbed it or not? We have the console, right? So we can open it with console.log, and if I close it with like that. So I just give everything in console. Okay. So what another way we can give? We can say let x something like this, and we can say we can store it in a variable that a particular method, and we can call that x, right? Fine. So if I go for inspect, go for the console, you can notice that that element is fetched. You can notice that h2 is fetched, the entire document is fetched, right? So now we have access to that element. So we have successfully selected that element. Okay. So now we see what is the pros and cons by using this ID. So the pros is specific selection. We can say specific selection. What is mean by specific selection? So we know that ID is unique, right? So if I use this ID para, it is not going to be used anywhere, right? So this is going to be unique. So if I use the name, I'm not going to use the same name again in any element, because that is the special power of ID, right? We need to use only for one time in an element only. Like we don't use the same name for any other element or multiple times. No, in the entire document, this para is going to be only one. Okay. So if I have another h2 tag, I'm not able to give the same ID. So because ID is unique, that is the rule of ID. So I have to give some different name like para1, para2, something like that. We need to give a change in that, right? So that is what actually we need, right? So right now I just want so that is called a specific. So if you want to specifically select an element, we can select an element by using their ID. So it is going to be very easy. So we can use that. And what is the cons? So the cons is, what is the specific? We can able to see the specific selection, but we not able to select a collection. What is mean by collection? For example, though ID is going to be only one, I'm not able to get more than one element. I'm not able to grab more than one element. So it is going to have only one element, and that is why. So we can simply call, if I use the ID, I'm able to grab only one single element. Fine. Okay. So right now we grabbed it. Okay. So here we have several properties. Like in CSS, we have several text alignment, blah, blah things, right? Same like JavaScript, we have several properties to change the element. So in that, we need to see about some of them. We're going to see about, we have inner HTML property. This is going to be one of the inner HTML. There is a property available, and I'm where like the DOM, we have several methods and several properties. By using that only, we use multiple things and we do some of the logics and that all. Okay. So this is going to be the inner HTML, and what is going to be next? It's going to be the inner text, and also going to have another one like inner content. Like it's more similar to inner text only. So this is two properties is very well and good that to work with. Okay, so let's see how can we implement this. So for example, if you want to, right now we have that element, right? So if you want to change the, what is the use case of this means, if you change the, here you can see this is going to be the inner text. This is going to be the inner text, right? So to change. So if you want to change that, you can use these two property and you can able to change that. Let's see how we can do. We have grabbed that element. So inside the X, so I can going to say X dot, and what is the property we have inner, we have the in HTML. If I give the inner HTML, and we can give the U2, and inside a string we can give whatever that you need to give inside this, you can give. So right now I just give an empty string, so it is going to be look it is going to replace that everything with empty. You can see that is going to be empty. So if I give something like hey, hey, I am changed. I save this. Here you can notice, hey, I am changed, right? Right, it is very good, right? So hey, I am changed. So it is very good, right? So how can we do that? By using some several acts that's given by um, an an client or an end user. Like for example, how can we do that? We can obviously do that by creating a function. Like I can say here we can create a button. Okay, here we can create a button. Inside the button we have say click me to see change. A very big button like this. And here for here we give the button. Okay, what happened? Text alignment center. Okay, so the color is going to be white. And just a minute button. And here we can say background color, it's going to have okay, fine. And I just going to say like something like this. Okay, fine. Okay, this is going to be a little bit. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, fine. So what I going to do now? What I do? I just going to, if someone click this button, I need to change this. So right, notice that it automatically change, right? So whatever I'm giving here, I just say yes. If I save this, you can see it is automatically changed. I don't want the immediate change. If someone clicks this will change. How can I do that? So for that, we can create a function. For example, I can create a function and I can name this click. We can say click me. This is going to be the function name, and here we can say have copy this, and we have this element. And here I just copy the you can declare the function variable outside of it also, like here, like this. Okay, so I say if someone clicks this, change the inner HTML to I am changed. Okay, so now what happened? The function, then only this is going to be executed. Until then, this is not going to be executed. For example, if I call the function click me, then happen, this is going to be, you can see this is going to be changed, right? And I don't want this also. If someone click this, then only I need to change this. How can I do that? Instead of calling this click me manual here, we can cut it here, go for the index.html, and where is the button? We have the button here. Here we can add an event. Yes, we can add an event. That is going to be another attribute. Like you want to give a prefix called on. So if you give the on attribute, you can what all are the events that are available for the button. Like we have about, blur, on play, on change, on click. Yes, you are heard it right. On click, which means someone clicks that. So everything, if on blur, everything has its own property. Like we had, so you can see some drag and dropping, right? So these all are doing by these events only. So right now we want only on click event. So what it is going to do, so it is wait for that event. Like if I say on click, so if it is going to wait for that event. If someone clicks this, a particular thing is going to happen. So what the particular thing we need to happen, we need to happen to change the inner function that is right now inside a function. So what we need to give an on click, and we need to call that function, what the function to execute. Okay, so right now then, if someone clicks this, what happened, the function get executed. So inside the function, what we have written, just change the inner HTML to yes, I am changed. This is what we need, right? Yes, I am changed. Yes, I am changed. This is what we need. Okay, so just save this. So if I click this, you can notice this. Yes, I am changed, right? Yes, I am changed. You can see the changes here also. If I refresh it right now, it is going to be this is going to be the element, and you can see in the element section we have I am here to change, and you can notice that h2 is there. So right now, if I click this, you can see that changes and some blinking is happen here also. If I click this here, you can see some blinking is happen and it is get update. So this is how the DOM works. So the DOMs based on this, and it has a t like hierarchy id, and whenever we do something, right? So this is one of the attribute property to change the inner text. What if I want to change the style of the inner, like for example, if I have the color called some color, right? So I don't like this color. So if someone clicks this, some css property, how can I do that? Say x dot style. We have something called a style, and you need to give a dot. Okay, so this is going to be another property. We need to give a style and we give a dot. You can define which property you will give. So here I just going to say background color. Okay, so background color, and you need to notice that here everything it is going to be JavaScript. Show it in a camel case only, not in something like the dash, kebab, shape and all. Okay, so you need to call the style. So like we can give a comment here to change the inner text. Okay, I will explain. We'll do only HTML also. We will see the difference between HTML and text later. So it is to change the CSS property. So if you want to change the CSS property, so if I say x style dot background color, if x style dot background color is to be, and here we can use. Okay, so that's it. Now what happened if someone clicks this? It is this, the name is also going to update, and the background color is also going to update it to black color. If it is like white color, you can see the background we get white. So this is how you get an theme, dark theme, light theme. So for that, what you need to do, instead of x, what you can do, you can right now you can copy the body. Okay, so for getting the body root element, for getting the root elements, we have to call that, like for example, we can say let body is equal to, we can directly call document dot body, because this is going to be the root element. So don't want to give an id and all. This is also going to be the parent elements, like the body, head and html are going to be the parent elements, so we don't want to give that. We directly call the body. If I say body, you notice that if I give the console dot log, if I call the body element, okay, if I go for the console, you can see entire body tag, whatever inside it, everything will be fetched. So here what we can do, if someone gives instead of x, what we can say body. So what it need to do, instead of white, I just going to say black. Okay, so how the theme toggler work, like the black, like dark theme, light theme, like that, right? So now what happened? Now I have access to the entire body, which means entire element. So what I did, change tail of the background color, like change the body background color. Right now we have tail background color, so change that to black. So that is what my request, and also change the inner HTML to yes, I am changed. So if I click this, you can see everything is changed into black, and you can notice yes, I am changed, right? So this is also done, right? So this is the basic introduction for DOM, right? It's very cool, right? So this is the basic introduction for DOM, and you can just practice this. So just a single element by using their id and do that is inner HTML and style.css. If you use this two property, you can able to change the some whatever the CSS property you need to change, you can able to change, and you can able to change the inner HTML of that. Okay, so this is going to be very cool and very easy to thing to do. Just try it out your own and come for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to work with the entire DOM process, and we're going to do some of functionalities and all, and we're going to work with that. Okay, so just remember how to use the function and what is event, like just remember on click event right now, and then you can able to work with that. Okay, so this is very cool project. Like the thing is, just do to grab an id by using that element, how to grab an id, by using id how to grab an element, and work it with inner HTML and style.css property, whatever the CSS property you want. And finally, do some functions, give some function and add to a button or something that you want to interact with. And you can, if you want to add it with some other element, you can give, that is your own. Like if you want to add it h1, you can add, no problem with that. And you can add that and add that function in, change the property instead of background color, change that to whatever the property, text element, to do something animation, whatever. Just try it out, and tomorrow we will cover the all other CSS property and all. And make sure to give a like and subscribe if you like that. And if you have any queries, contact me personally in LinkedIn. I will be there in LinkedIn. My name is Hari Prasad, like if you found it in the LinkedIn itself. And also, like, we have the attendance form, just try to fill it out, because we need to fill the 4 attendance form to get the certification and all. And rather, if you have any doubts and if you need to give some feedbacks, just give your feedbacks in the LinkedIn post and tag me. I will be there to help and comment. Okay, so that's all. And personally, like if you are in WhatsApp group, just give a message there in the WhatsApp group if you really need any doubts to clarify. Okay, see you guys. Yeah, so see you tomorrow for the next last day of JavaScript beginner class. Okay.